we can go with the process. Like, a patient comes in, they book an appointment, and then the patient comes in, meets a doctor. The doctor has the iPad,
Mhm.
and then uses the EHR app, and then create a H&P SOAP note or a custom template that he uses. And once he completes, then the billing takes over. Let's say I'm the biller, I'll take over from there. How do I send the claim out?
Mhm.
And what happens in the back end, like a life cycle of the claim. And then once I submit the claim, how I get the information back from the insurance company. And then, you know, these reports, what are the reports they can generate to better manage the practice. So
Right.
it's like a complete overview of what we can do.
Okay.
Great. So when the patient calls in, we schedule an appointment.
Yep. That's the easy part.
Yeah. So you schedule an appointment. If it's a new patient, a patient is the first time he comes in, then
Yep.
they'll click on the new patient, enter the first and last name, date of birth, cell phone number, home phone number, and email address.
Right.
If it's an existing patient, they can just type in the patient's name and pull up the patient and click on save.
Okay.
And we can check the demographics. So once you click on the pencil icon,
Yep.
it'll take to the demographic screen. So this is where the important tab is where you can set the status as whether it's an active patient or an inactive patient.
Yep.
And then, the patient's basic information like the names and all that. You can also enter the copayment amount, upload a photo.
Yep.
The demographics tab, this is where they'll enter the demographic information, social security number, address, um, marital status, responsible party name, employer information, and then primary insurance. So we are partnered with MDON, and MDON is contracted with over 4,000 insurance companies to send claims electronically and to receive electronic remittance advice. Now, there could be some insurance, there are small insurances who does not have the electronic capacity to receive claims electronically. So they don't have the system.
What's the percentage? Would you say?
I would say there could be 20% of the insurances.
Okay, so they just do
paper. There are small insurance.
Okay.
So in that case, they can still send the claim electronically from our system.
Yep.
And MDON will print and mail. So
Yep.
this actually saves a lot of time and money for the doctors.
Right.
Because they don't have to print it. So they'll enter the insurance information here, primary
Yep.
insurance information. And the other insurance is where they'll enter the secondary insurance.
Yep.
If the patient has a tertiary, then they'll enter it. And then auto accident and workers' comp. Now, with auto accident and workers' comp, we are partnered again with another clearinghouse, IECFA.
Mm-hmm.
So this clearinghouse is one of the first clearinghouse in the country to go fully electronic with auto accident and workers' comp. So you can send the claim from the system electronically.
Yep.
And when it goes to these two insurance, it goes along with the clinical notes. Because auto accident and workers' comp insurance, they will not pay just by looking at the claim.
Right.
They need the clinical documentation from the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can send the clinical documentation as well electronically. So that is, again, a lot of savings for the doctors.
Right.
And durable medical equipment claims.
So we do durable medical equipment
Yes.
claims as well.
Yeah.
Is that through IHICFA or
It's through MDON.
Okay.
Then eligibility tab, this is where the doctor can check the eligibility for the patient.
Yep.
And they can choose a specific service type and then check eligibility as well.
Can you guys do a quick demo of something, or is it not live
it's
on
not
this? Okay.
because you need a NPI number.
Oh, got
so
it. Okay.
Since I'm not a doctor, so it's really hard to
Yep.
get it. But again, this is done through MDON, and MDON is partnered with over 500 insurance to check real-time eligibility and benefits.
So 4,000 insurance companies
You could send
is
electronically
connected through electronic.
Yeah.
And 500 for eligibility checks.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's like a guesstimated number. It could be
Okay.
about plus or minus.
Around that.
Yeah. Authorizations. So there are some services where the insurance company will ask the doctor to get approval from them before doing the service. So whenever they get the authorization, the doctor can enter the authorization number.
Mm.
That particular authorization might be valid for a specific date range. Like it could be valid for like a month or 2 months or 3 months. Or they'll say like, I'll approve 10 visits. So in this case, the doctor will enter the authorization number. let's say it's allowed 8 visits, they can enter some specific comments like approved for oops, 8 visits.
Yep. So it's just like
Yeah, it's just for internal documentation, and then they can choose the procedure code which got approved,
okay.
and then they'll click on update. Now
So
our
these
system
are pre-approved medical billing
exactly the codes.
codes.
So they will get, because it's been approved, the doctor will get reimbursed.
Right.
So our system can keep a track of these authorization as and when the patient comes for a service.
Right.
It's kind of slow.
Yeah, it's a little slow. The internet is a little
Yeah.
slow. This room particularly.
So we just entered this particular authorization.
Mm-hmm.
So this procedure code, and it's started from today.
Yep.
It will say number of visits allowed.
Yep.
And the system will start tracking how many visits the doctor is using. So as and when the doctor uses this particular code, the visits remaining will start getting reduced.
Right.
I might have used this code today, so its start date is today's date, so it shows as visits remaining as 7.
Right.
And once it reaches let's say 80% of the allowed authorization,
Mm-hmm.
let's say out of the 8 you used 5 or 6, then it will start giving an alert automatically, like this alert.
Okay.
It'll give an alert here, and it will also give an alert here.
Right.
So the doctor's front office staff, when the patient comes in, they know that only 2 authorization is left. So they can call the insurance and get more authorization,
Right.
or they can tell the patient that the authorization is going to expire, so you may need to stop paying for it.
Right.
And then we have flags, which is kind of an internal note, like a sticky note.
Yep.
That doctors can flag it. Like I have flagged this patient as sent to collections.
So what's a good example?
An example is like sent to collections. So
Okay.
the patient is not paying money for a long time,
Right.
and we have sent it to the collections. If this patient comes back again, the front office staff, as soon as they're booking the appointment, they know that this patient has already been sent to collections, so they can tell the patient that, you know what, you have an outstanding amount, you have been flagged to, we have already sent your bill to collections.
Right.
You need to make sure that you're paying this amount. So
Okay.
it kind of gives an alert to them.
Any other good examples? Like what would another? Or generally, that's the one that.
Or if, let's say, for example, if this patient is authorization, so we can create a flag as
for authorized.
get authorization.
Oh, get authorization. Okay.
So whenever this patient calls up, when books an appointment, we know that this particular service, we need an authorization, so they can call the insurance company and get the authorization before even the patient would come.
Right.
And lastly, the balance tab. This gives a quick summary of what has happened in this patient account, like how much has been billed, and out of that, how much has been allowed, and where exactly the money is pending, like insurance balance, patient balance. It also says how much patient paid and patient insurance paid.
Right.
So they can get a quick summary of the patient's account balance. And if they need more information, they can click on full transaction history,
Mhm.
and this will provide a detailed review of like what and all happened for each and every visit the patient came in. So that's a summary, and this is more of a detailed one.
Right.
So that's all about the demographics tab.
Okay.
Now, going back to this appointment. So let's assume the patient came in and meets the doctor. Now, this particular appointment will show up in the iPad. So the doctor will meet the patient and create the H&P or a SOAP note or custom template.
Right.
And he also collects a copay. So you will enter the copayment amount. It can be entered here, or it can be entered in the iPad as well.
Yep.
Sorry. Then you'll choose whether it's a cash, check, or a credit card.
Yep.
So this particular information, the doctor, whatever clinical note that he has prepared, based on that, the billing has to be done. So the biller can open this particular screen, click on clinical notes, view complete note, and look at the documentation the doctor has created.
Right.
So based on the documentation, it's a sample one. So,
Right.
yeah. Based on the documentation, the biller can enter the ICD-9 code, CPT code, or the ICFIX code. So ICD-9 is the diagnosis code.
Yep.
So they can, if they know the code, they can just enter the code. If they don't know the code, they can just search for a code with a condition.
Right.
And then they can just choose it. Or the same way with CPT code and ICFIX code. Or if they have a billing profile, they can choose a billing profile. I have a lot of profiles. Okay. And then the codes comes automatically.
Preloaded.
Yeah.
Preload that.
The pricing for the code can be entered in a different screen. So I'm just going to override it.
Okay.
And then save the changes that I made. Now, the doctor wants to give a receipt for the patient payment that he made. Mm-hmm. So he can do that with the patient super bill. So this super bill will have the appointment date, the doctor's information, patient information, and then it'll also say what's the diagnosis code that was used, the treatment code, and how much was billed and how much is patient paid and balance. You can also get a signature from the patient.
So this can be handed to the patient.
Exactly. Our system is fully electronic, so they can send claims electronically to all insurances. Mm-hmm. But if they wanted to see how a claim looks like, they can click on other forms and ICFA 1500. This will generate the claim in the ICFA 1500 form, just to see, okay, if all the information is there.
Right.
So they can just take a look at it to make sure everything is perfect.
Right.
Now, they created a claim. Now, what are you going to do with the claim? And that's when you come to the billing status. Mm-hmm. Now, we have default billing status, and we can customize the billing status as well. So I'm just going to tell you about each and every default status. From paid in full to durable medical equipment is the default ones. Okay. And I have 2 custom billing status, pending and to be billed.
Right.
Now, let me go over the default ones. Paid in full or settled, both are similar. When if it's a cash patient does not have an insurance, it's a cash patient, saw the doctor, and he pays full money, then we can enter the patient payment amount and then mark the particular appointment as paid in full or settled. That gives an indication to the doctor that everything has been collected, right. Nothing needs to be done. If there is a small balance that has to be collected, let's say out of $100, patient pays $50, the remaining $50 he has to pay when he comes for the next visit, they can keep the status as balance due. So next time when he comes, we can just filter out the balance due claims alone and then collect the money. Internal review, let's say the biller has a question. The biller wants to know, while reading the documentation, the biller comes to a question whether what kind of a level to choose. So the biller wants to get clarified with the doctor. Then you can keep it as an internal review. It's like keeping it in hold, not doing anything, just keeping it in hold, and then check with the doctor and then bill it out. So they can just keep it as internal review. Bill insurance will send the claim electronically to all insurance companies, primary insurance companies electronically. Secondary insurance will go secondary insurance electronically, and then workers' comp to the workers' comp insurance, mm-hmm. Auto accident to auto accident, and durable medical equipment. Mm-hmm. So each of these status will go to the respective insurance in the demographic screen.
Right. So what if you are billing a primary and a secondary?
You cannot bill a primary and a secondary at the same time. Okay. So first you need to bill the primary insurance.
And then you bill the secondary
Exactly.
Insurance.
Only when they pay it, you will bill the secondary insurance.
Okay.
So let's assume that I'm billing the primary insurance. But before that, all these status, we have an option in the live claims feed to filter out the claims. So if I keep this claim in internal review or in my own custom code, custom status, mm-hmm. I can go to live claims feed, filter this particular claims alone, and then review it anytime.
Right.
So I'm keeping it as bill insurance.
Okay.
And save and close. That's it. So this claim will be marked to send electronically tonight. So every day night at around 7 o'clock Pacific time, mm-hmm. all the claims in bill insurance or bill secondary insurance status will be sent electronically to the clearinghouse.
Right.
Now, once you keep it in bill insurance status, there is like 2 kind of scrubber systems that we have, which checks for any possible errors in the claim. The first scrubbing is done by our system, Dr. Chronos system, and the second scrubbing is done by MDON. Now, during the first scrubbing, if there are any errors, all these claim will be
So wait, the
marked as
scrubbings are first by us?
first by us and then by MDON.
So it's our medical billing team first looking, or is it automatic?
It's
algorithm-
automatic. The
so
system
the company is
itself
looking for
exactly.
problems. So if there's problems, it'll find those immediately, or at
Yeah,
night?
it will. Once it goes out in the night, at the time there's a scrubbing that happens.
Okay, so it's at night. So
Exactly.
it scrubs it at night.
Exactly.
So the next day they'll see that
Exactly.
after 7 p.m.
Yeah. So every day morning at around 6 o'clock,
Mm.
the doctor and the doctor staff will receive a HIPAA compliant email.
Mhm.
I think these are the claims that were, these are the errors that we found
Right.
in the claim. So you have to fix it the first thing in the morning.
Right.
It'll go to them. And these claims will be marked as, during the first scrubbing, if there are any errors, it'll be marked as missing information. So
Okay.
the status here will change from bill insurance to missing information. And it'll say what information is missing. It could be a date of birth missing, or the patient's social security number or ID number missing. It'll say here. And in the second scrubbing, which is done by MDON, the status will change to rejected. So it'll say rejected and it'll say the rejection reason. So the billers can filter these two status every day morning and then work on those claims alone. If we click on update filter, it will show all the claims in that particular status. I do
Right.
not have any.
Right.
So you can filter out. Now let's assume that I fixed the claim, submitted it again. Again, it goes out in the night, passes the first scrubbing, no errors, passes the second scrubbing, no errors.
Mhm.
Then the status will automatically change to in process at clearinghouse. It will
Mm.
show under insurance status at in process at clearinghouse. So that gives an indication to the doctor that, okay, the claim is passed without any errors. Now, once the clearinghouse forwards to the insurance company and insurance takes it for processing, the status will automatically change to in process at payer. So it'll say here as in process at payer. Now, when the insurance company processes a claim, it could be only two status. Either they make a payment or they don't make a payment. It's a denial. If they make a payment, the payment will come automatically as ERAs. It'll get posted in the system automatically.
Mhm.
And
So an ERA is electronic remittance advice, which
Exactly.
means it's just a receipt that you were paid.
yes,
So
and
the
the
money
check
goes-
will go to the doctor's account.
Paper check.
Yeah, it could be a paper check or an electronic fund transfer.
Oh, okay. So
They
some
have-
insurance companies do electronic
Yeah.
funds transfers.
All the major insurances like Medicare, Medicaid, Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross, they all have automated fund transfer.
Okay.
So it'll go directly to the doctor's bank account and they will send the receipt, which is the ERA, to us.
Yep.
And it'll get posted automatically. And the status
Do
will.
we set up those electronic funds transfers? It's mainly the doctor who sets that up. The doctor
During
sets
the
it up.
enrollments, the bigger insurance companies, the forms will come along with the enrollment.
Okay.
So we
So
kind of
they-
fill it up and send
They
it to
fill,
them.
so they fill it out. You just get it from them and then get it set up,
Exactly.
get them set up so that Blue Cross Blue Shield or
Yeah.
Medicare, Medicaid, it just goes directly in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, once the ERA comes, it'll get posted and the status will change to ERA received. If it's a denial, then the denial will get posted and the status will change to ERA denied. Now, if the doctor's biller wants to work on those denials, they
Mhm.
can click on ERA denied alone, click on update filter, and
Yep.
work on all those denials.
So our team, if they're doing Apollo Plus billing, our team looks at those daily and tries to work on those. Correct?
Exactly. Our team will work on the scrubbing errors, the missing information rejected,
Mhm.
and also on the ERA denied.
Okay, but they're not submitted. We leave those.
Not submitted is not been submitted, so
Right,
it's
so-
eventually they will work on it.
So if the doctor has their own medical biller, they take care of all of this.
Exactly.
But if it's not submitted on our end, we're taking care of that.
Exactly.
For Apollo Plus users.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, the ERAs will get posted automatically, and the copy of the ERA will also be stored under remittance reports.
Okay.
This is a report where the billers can use it to match up the doctor's bank account. Again, this is a sample account, so I don't have any ERAs.
Yep.
But this is how it looks. It will say the date, the check number, insurance company name, and how many claims were in that ERA, how much money they got paid, and how much was adjusted, and the payment method, whether it's a paper check or electronic fund transfer. So the biller can every day come to the screen, filter out that particular day, and find out how much money that they received,
Right.
compare it with the doctor's bank account to make sure that it matches.
Matches up.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like remittance reports are probably one of the most important things
Exactly.
where they can just see what they were paid on.
Exactly.
the last week, last month, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, not all insurance sends electronic remittance advice.
Right.
Some
So the
will
other
send
ones
paper
are
EOBs.
EOBs. So what does EOB stand for?
Explanation of benefits.
Okay.
Now,
So that's basically a paper receipt,
exactly.
not an electronic receipt. What's the
Exactly.
percentage of people sending ERAs? Would you say?
70% it should be electronic.
Oh, okay. That's
30% is paper.
Okay.
Now, the paper EOBs that we receive, we have to post the payment manually.
Right.
So what we are doing right now is we are working with MDON
Mhm.
to automate that 30% as well.
Hmm.
So MDON will give a lockbox to us.
Right.
We will tell all the insurance companies to send
it
it to the
to-
lockbox.
Yep.
And MDON will convert that paper into a ERA. And
Yep.
then
And it will be
sent.
magically posted for
Exactly.
the doctor for only Apollo Plus customers.
Yeah, I was
So-
talking to Michael about this.
Mhm.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to start with Apollo Plus customers without any charge.
Mhm.
And then if it's become successful, we can actually roll out to Apollo customers as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because it's going to save a lot of time for the billers.
Even
And
for
we
them,
can
and-
increase the charges.
Right. Okay. So we could track more. doing it, So
Exactly.
it's beneficial to us. So we would tell the Apollo customers, send all EOBs to this address, and then they
Exactly.
send it, and then we can put it in there for them.
Yeah, so
With-
it'll
with our
become like our system will become 100% electronic, wherein you
awesome.
can send claims electronically to all the payers,
Yeah.
whether or not they accept it. We can send it.
Yep.
And by receiving it, it becomes 100% electronic as
That's
well.
awesome.
So yeah, that'll be like
Yeah.
a lot of work can be saved.
Yeah, for the doctor, for
Yeah.
the staff.
Exactly. So this is a total life cycle of a claim with our system, like
Okay.
starting from creating a claim to getting payment and zeroing it out.
Okay.
Now we have different reports in the screen to better track the performance of the practice and of course the biller. Now the first report is the billing summary. So this gives a graphical representation of how much collections the doctor is making. So the income analysis says how much they collected for this particular month,
Mhm.
and you can just quickly compare it with last month, and then quarter to date, and last quarter, and year to date.
Mhm.
And it also says some of the performance indicators like payment speed. How fast am I getting paid? What's the fastest number of days, the slowest number of days, and what's our average AR days?
Mhm.
Now, this is one of the thought that I have, Daniel. I can get the industry standards on the average AR days or average payment speed for each and every specialty.
Right.
So we can display it and say, okay, if I'm a chiropractor, my
Mhm.
average payment speed should be, let's say,
10
20 days.
20 days.
20
yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And using our system, if
Mhm.
they're collecting in 18 days or 15 days, that means that our system is more efficient
Right.
than compared to other systems.
So we're going to pull in all the average industry standards and just put it here.
Exactly.
So they know that they're getting paid faster or slower.
Exactly, based on the specialty.
Right.
Because every specialty will have their, pros and cons.
Right.
So we can display it on the screen. I have seen doctors getting paid as fast as 10 days,
Right.
wherein the average could be like 25 days
That's the average right now that you're seeing.
for a particular specialty.
Okay.
So we can do that. That'll be really good in terms of like telling them that you can increase the efficiency if you use our billing system.
Right. So the average right now is just the doctor himself.
The doctors themselves.
So it's the algorithm is just the doctors.
Exactly.
average.
So it will say what is the fastest
Yeah.
date I got paid, and
Yeah.
what's the slowest, and what's the average of these two.
Yeah.
And then some of the performance indicators. So this period represents the current month if you choose a month filter.
Yep.
And last period is the last month, and it basically gives a comparison between these 2 months
how much you're making on these
Exactly.
particular procedures and adjustments.
in terms of percentage, whether
Charges.
it's a
Are you
positive or a
making
negative.
more money? Are you making less
Exactly.
money on specific things?
Exactly. So it's broken down by procedures, the
Mm-hmm.
number of procedures the doctor performed. Charges are the billed amount. What's the value of the claim? So the total value of claims for that particular month.
Right.
And adjustments, allowed amount, how much the insurance allowed, receipts or payments, and days to bill, how long the biller took to submit claims to the insurance company on an average.
Mhm.
And the number of patients they saw for this period and number of appointments. So it basically compares the last month and the current month and gives a percentage.
Right.
So this is like a high level summary. This is one of the screens that I actually wanted to display it in the iPad as well.
this screen.
Yeah.
So they could see what's going
Yeah,
on.
they don't even have to come to the website. The doctor can see it in the iPad
Right.
because this is like the high level monitoring
Right.
for the doctors. It'll really help them.
Cool.
Yeah. We already saw the live claims feed
So live claims feed, just going over that again, is basically just
to track.
what's going on with claims real time.
Exactly.
So processing, rejected, you've been paid on it.
Exactly.
So it's live, real claim. Okay.
Yeah, they can search by patient or
Yep.
insurance company or
Yep.
by claim number or for a particular period of time. You can just play around and see whatever is happening with the claims. Legacy EOBs. This is something which whenever we make whenever you receive a paper EOB and we post it manually, all the manual postings that you do will be tracked here.
Okay,
so it's kind of like an audit log.
So it's an audit log of the paper EOB. So
exactly.
They can see what was entered. So
right.
if a doctor posts, if his staff does an EOB post, it shows here.
Yes.
If we on the Apollo Plus do EOB posting, it will show here.
Exactly. Okay. Legacy transaction is any transaction that you do manually will be shown here. It's again kind of an audit log, but from a billing standpoint. So it'll say like, okay, I worked on this appointment, I changed the status to bill, bill insurance, and whatever transaction that has happened, it'll just say it here. It's kind of like an audit tracking.
Yeah. So it could be called transactions.
Exactly.
But it's just like all transactions that have happened in time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Patient payments. So we saw there's an option of posting the patient payment in the appointment.
Right.
That's specific for that particular visit.
Right, for that one particular patient.
Yes. Let's say if I'm a patient and I go to the doctor the very first time and the doctor charges me $100 and I don't have an insurance. And the doctor tells me that I have to come for another 5 follow-up visits for the next 5 weeks. I don't want to keep paying every now and then I come.
Right.
I want to make a bulk payment.
Right.
Say I want to give you $500, which is not only for this visit, for the next 4 visits that I'm going to come. So that's a bulk amount that we are receiving, but you have only one claim in the one appointment in the system. So you have to post that payment and keep it somewhere as unallocated payment,
right,
and then allocate it as and when the patient comes in. Yeah, you can do that here. Any bulk payment can be done.
So if a patient wants to pay upfront for future things, they can come here.
Exactly, for the future, or I'm coming for the 5 visits and then I'm making a payment for all 5 visits together. It's a bulk payment that I give.
Right.
You can easily allocate it from the screen.
Okay.
So you can just type in the patient name and then you can come here and then enter the bulk payment amount. You can allocate it right from this screen. You don't have to open every appointment.
Right.
Or just post it as a without selecting the appointment, just post like $500.
Okay, so you can do that right here.
Yeah, you can enter it. That will go as an unallocated amount. You click on autofill.
One patient, so it's Sam Anderson.
Okay. Yeah, you click on autofill. You can see that $500 has been automatically filled. So you don't have to waste time in posting it every appointment.
Okay, so this speeds up patient payments for patients who want to come in and pay up front. So like say you're coming in for plastic surgery.
Yeah.
They can pay for that plastic surgery and all the
follow-ups. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can just click on autofill, it automatically applies.
Okay.
Yeah. Next is day sheet. So day sheet is like a typical end of the day report. Like any financial tracking, you will generate a report end of the day to see what all the transactions that has happened. So it defaults to today's date, and it's categorized into 3 ways. The first is credits and adjustments. Any insurance payments or adjustment that came for this particular period will be listed here. It gives the details. Patient payments, any mode of patient payment will be listed here. And charges are your billed amount, how much you billed for a particular appointment.
Right.
So these 3 are categories where it gives details, and the grand totals says like how much I bill for today, $250. Credit, I didn't get any insurance payment or adjustment.
Mhm.
but I posted a patient payment of $520, like 500 in the patient payment screen and $20 in the appointment. So it tells me here. So I can generate this report end of the day and see what all the transactions that has happened.
Right.
And if I want to do it for a month, I can do it from here. Like I can do it for 1 month, like maximum of 31 days. But if I want to do it for a year, I can do it from a advanced export.
Okay.
So
So you could export more data.
yeah, you can
So
do it for like a year or two.
what's the difference between this day sheet and like billing summary? It feels very similar.
But it gives the details for
This-
that particular day.
So this gives a lot more details,
Details.
for a particular day.
Exactly.
So billing summary is just a real high level of
Yeah.
everything. It doesn't ever go into the details.
No.
You have to go into day sheet to get the details of like what happened on a particular day.
Exactly. So as a doctor, I don't want to go to details. I wanted to see how much money is in my bank account.
Right.
So the doctor will go to the billing summary.
Right.
But as a biller, I have to keep a track of the accounts.
Mhm.
I have to see what is coming in and what is going out. So then I will use the day sheet report.
Okay.
Because the doctor is not worried about what money that I received today. He's more worried about how much money I made for the month. So it will show only the month data here.
Right.
But as a biller,
It's
I have to
day
worry
to
about
day.
every day.
So this is more focused for the biller.
Exactly.
So okay.
Any other questions?
I think that's it with that one.
Now, transactions. This is another kind of a report. I mean, medical billing as such, it's like playing with numbers and reports.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to see it in different formats. And this is another report that you can generate to see what are the transactions that have happened based on the appointment date. So the last 1 month, I want to see all the list of patients that I saw and what all the transactions that has happened, how much I billed, how much insurance paid, how much patient paid. I can see it in one screen. So I will choose the date of service, which is the date of the appointment, and then I can filter it out and then see these are the list of patients that I saw, how much I billed, how much insurance paid, and patient paid.
Okay, so the difference between like the patient payments page, that's strictly patient payments. They can pay in advance if they want. You can look at all payment information per patient or all patients, right?
Right.
Here, transactions includes insurance company information.
Exactly.
So this is what the patient paid and what the insurance company paid.
This is just a report to see it, and
Yeah.
patient payment is you will post a payment.
Okay, so patient payments is posting payments mainly.
Yeah, posting the patient payment
Okay.
and then applying it. But
Okay.
here, this is just a report to see what has happened in
Oh.
my account.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then day sheet is more of what happened every single day.
Exactly.
So this is more like. So I'm just trying to clarify like the difference between them. So it's really all the same data,
It's shown in a different way.
different ways. Okay.
So a day sheet will not have data based on the appointment date. This is
Okay.
based on the appointment date, but this is more of what happened today. For example, a claim or an appointment the patient had in the month of March would have got paid today. That will show in the day sheet.
Okay.
But this is like more towards what happened in the month of March.
This happened with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's by transactions by appointment date.
Okay.
Yeah.
So day sheet. Okay, so this is more by appointments,
Yes.
and day sheet is more by what
Happened today.
happened today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to typically in medical billing terminology, we call it as posting date.
Okay.
So whatever, I mean, a claim could have been for the month of January or March or April, but it got posted only today. It got paid only today. Then I go with the posting date. So I wanted to see a report on how much money I got today versus what I got for that appointment that happened in the month of March. So we are showing it in two different ways.
Right. So what's one? So a day sheet. What's one example of a day sheet? So a day sheet. So say you just want to see everything that happened that day. That's all
Exactly.
this report is really for.
Exactly.
We do have a date range, but generally it's not really used as
Not
much.
not
It's
always
just
be
there
used.
for a nice feature. So it's like
Exactly.
what happened today or what happened on last Tuesday.
Exactly.
transactions is more like what happened in a sequence of appointments.
Exactly. Based
Okay.
on the appointment date.
Based on the appointment date. So you could filter on appointment dates and see what happened.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, a lot of compliance and auditing that happens. So when an audit comes, they wanted to see for the entire month of May, I wanted to see how many patients that I saw
Mhm.
and how much money that I collected. I want by details. Then they choose the 1 month for the May 1st to May 31st.
Right.
And then it will show all the patients the doctor saw in the month of May. And it will
And
show
all
the
their
details.
appointments and all the billing
Yeah,
here.
Exactly.
But a day sheet wouldn't show this. It wouldn't show the appointment information.
It will show only the posting. It's based on the date when it got posted. So this report is based on the appointment date.
And that's based on the
It's a
posting
posting
of
date.
paid.
Exactly.
Paid. Okay, so this is I got paid on this day. This
Yes.
is I did the appointment this day.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes it way clearer. I got paid on this day. This is the appointment date.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes a lot more sense to me now.
Right. We already saw remittance reports. So this is where all the ERAs
ERAs come
comes
in.
to stores.
So ERAs are just simply receipts of when you got paid
Exactly.
and the posting method. We could do ERA. We could do direct deposit
Or
whatever it's
paper
called,
check.
electronic
Fund transfer.
funds transfer or paper check.
Exactly.
Okay. And
Now, I don't want to confuse you more, but
it's good. It's good. I think the more you go into,
okay, we have something called unmatched ERAs.
Mhm.
So let's say, for example, a doctor does a service and he sends the claim to the insurance company. Now, insurance company feels the doctor overbilled, meaning
right,
the level of service could be 1, but he billed for 5 to
Right.
get more reimbursement.
right,
The insurance company will easily identify that.
Right.
And then they'll say, you know what, you actually upcoded it.
right,
Now I'm going to downcode it.
right,
Instead of using a 40-minute appointment, you could have used a 20-minute appointment.
right.
So they change the code and then sends back to us.
So the insurance companies sometimes change level
Yes.
on the doctors.
Exactly.
So there's 1 to 5, right? 1 to
Yeah.
5. 5 is the most they can get paid. 1 is the least.
Exactly.
Okay. So like it happens sometimes where
Sometimes.
where a
Sometimes.
doctor
It
gets
could be
paid.
like 10%.
So an unmatched. This makes actually total sense.
Yeah.
Unmatched ERA
When it
is not matched with the amount of the level that they posted.
Exactly.
So a doctor says, I deserve a level 4 amount of money, and then the insurance company says, no, we're giving you a level 3.
3. So when it comes, it will not match because
Right.
what we have in the system is 4.
Right.
When it comes as 3, then it will not post. It will come and get saved here.
Okay. Is there anything the Apollo Plus team does about this, or they just
Yeah.
let it?
No, what we do is as a biller,
Mhm.
I have to go and accept that, okay, insurance paid this
Yeah.
much, and I have to apply it manually
Okay.
because the system cannot match it. It's like an apple versus apple.
Right.
When it comes
Right.
as an orange, it cannot match,
Right.
so it gets stored.
Right.
We will change it to an apple and then apply
Right.
it.
Fix it.
Yeah.
So is there ever a case where you go back to the insurance company and say, well, this really was, or
Uh,
not
we-
really? It's generally
It's based on the condition. Not
okay.
a lot of doctors will, go after downcoding because
Okay. It's something the insurance
they know
company-
that it's the insurance company is saying the right
Okay.
thing. But there could be situations when the insurance company totally will decline it. They'll say it's not medically necessary.
Okay.
For example, the doctor will do a surgery,
Mhm.
and there is a global period, meaning whatever the doctor bills as a surgery, he has to take care of the patient for the next 60 days without any other claims, any more claims,
Mhm.
because everything is included and they're getting a lump payment. But the doctor will ask the patient to come for an office visit after 30 days of surgery and then send a claim out. Now, the insurance company will say it's part of the global, payment.
Mhm.
It's in the global limit. So I'm not going to pay for it. That comes as a denial.
Mm.
Then we as billers will say, the reason why we are doing it, we create an appeal letter. We'll say the reason why the doctor saw is because of this reason, the condition turned in a different way and the doctor has to see the patient, and then we'll send the appeal letter. So that's like totally declining it. Then we will appeal for it.
Okay, so there are times when it's totally denied, we appeal.
Exactly.
Generally, when it's downcoded, we don't appeal. We don't.
Normally we don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's generally like when it's directly denied, we
Yes.
sometimes do appeals for those.
Exactly.
Okay.
Next is account receivable. This is another screen which the doctors would love to see it. I'm just gonna make it a little big. Normally happens, you can see it here, right?
Yeah.
It's actually, when you make it big, then it becomes clear.
Okay.
It's because the numbers and the days,
Yeah.
it both.
Yeah.
So I've been billing the insurance, I'm creating claims, and then I've been submitting. Now, I wanted to see how much money is totally outstanding. Now, the best practice is to see based on the aging bucket. So we have different buckets,
Right.
like 0 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 91 to 120, and 120 plus, and the total of everything.
Right.
Now, the reason why it's split across into aging bucket is because normally the insurance company takes anywhere between 30 to 40 days to release a payment. Now, if more money is sitting in 0 to 30, then we cannot do anything. It's been recently filed. We are waiting for the payment to come in. However, if you see 31 to 60, 61 to 90, and 91 to 120, 120 plus is all alert zone. The doctor is waiting for the money, and he's been waiting for a long time.
Right.
So we kind of like, it helps from a billing standpoint, as a biller, it helps me to focus on the things wherein the money is outstanding for a long time. The
Right.
focus area is, I would focus on 121 plus days first because it's been pending for so long,
Okay.
and I have to collect the money immediately.
Right.
And then I'll focus on 91 to 120 and 61 to 90.
Right.
31 to 60, but I will not focus on 0 to 30 because it's been recently
Right.
submitted.
Reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this summary for the doctor, it really helps to see it from a billing standpoint, from an overall high level view.
Mhm.
That okay, I can see it in a graphical representation. Again, money pending from patient, money pending from insurance company. There are two things. So it shows here. However, for a biller, I want more details. I want to know which insurance companies are, where the money is pending, and who are those patients. Now I click on View by Insurance. Now this details to the insurance companies. It will say the insurance company name, and it will say how much money is pending in each and every bucket.
Right.
This is a total that you saw as a graph on the previous screen.
Right. So you could see the total amount and who's paying out and who isn't paying out.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could say, well, this one insurance company owes me a lot.
Exactly.
Should I even accept patients from that?
Yeah, kind of like that. So we have, as part of the billing for Apollo Plus,
Mhm.
we have follow-up personals.
Yep.
So they majorly work with the insurance company. They call the insurance company, ask them why you're not releasing money.
Right.
So let's say, okay, I see $2,300 pending with,
Yeah.
CatCore.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call this insurance. Now I want more details. I want to know who are those patients.
Right.
I clicked on the total. It tells me the patient names, what is the code that has been billed,
Mhm.
everything, and it says the status as well.
Right.
So it's a rejected or a denied. Everything will show here.
Okay. So you could see more details on what was paid out, what wasn't paid out with that
Exactly.
insurance company.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, so I can call the insurance and say, for Monica Wilson, there is a claim that is pending for $150 for the visit date 5/14/2013. I want to know what's the status of it.
Right.
Then they'll say, you know what, we are releasing a check in a week's time. Okay,
Okay.
that's cool.
Okay.
Then I'll go to the next one.
Right.
So it'll help the follow person to work on collecting the money.
Accounts receivable is really for follow-up to see who's paying and who's not paying with insurance
Exactly.
companies.
Exactly.
Now, is this something, so also the same thing with patients, so like if they're paying or not paying?
Yeah. So we have something called View by Patient.
Oh, okay.
That will list all my patients
hmm
and how much money that they owe for me.
Okay, and when it's due. So like
Exactly.
you would look at the 121 plus days first and try to reach out to them first.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is one of the screen that I actually wanted to bring to the iPad.
Mhm.
So the doctor can, not the details, but only the summary.
Right.
So the doctor can click on it and then see where exactly the money is sitting.
Right.
So it will really help him to understand where money is sitting and how he can tell the billers
Yeah.
that they have to focus on these areas.
Right.
So they don't have to. Doctor does not have to come to the website at all.
Right.
Yeah. Any questions?
I think that makes total sense.
Great. Next is patient statements. Let me know if it's too much for today.
No, it makes so.
Okay.
It's actually really good.
Um, Patient statements. So there could be a lot of patients who owes the doctor money,
Hmm.
and the doctor will send statements to the patient saying, "This is what how much you owe me," and they
Hmm.
have to make a payment. Now there are a lot of act which is there, like Fair Debt Collections Act. All these comes into play when it comes from money to be collected from the patients. So the law says you have to send statements 3 times,
Hmm.
and after 3 times, you can make a pre-collection call, meaning you don't call the patient and threaten them. You just call them and say, "Hey, you know what? We have been sending statements to you. Are you receiving it?"
Right.
The patient says, "No, I'm not receiving my statement." Then we'll ask, "Okay, what's your address?" Because we have a different address in the system,
Right.
and then collect the address, and then we'll send another statements.
Right.
So every statement should have a month gap.
Hmm.
So we will send 3 consecutive months. We'll send statements.
Okay.
If the patient is not making any payment, the doctor has to send it to collections.
Okay.
Now we don't. I mean, we're not a collection agency.
Right.
For Apollo Plus doctors, what we will do is we'll send 3 statements.
Mhm.
We will do a follow up call to the patient, like in a software. Hey, are you receiving the statements? Are you planning to pay? I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna cut a check. You know what? I'm not gonna pay. Do whatever you want. Okay, fine. That's all. We
Yeah.
don't do anything. Now, what we will do is we'll take all those patients who are not making payment after sending 3 statements, send that information in the Excel spreadsheet to the doctor,
Right.
and tell them these patients are not making a payment. It's
Right.
up to you. What do you want to do?
Right.
So the doctor might opt for a collection agency,
Okay.
or some doctors will be like, okay, I mean, as long as I'm getting paid from insurance, I'm fine with that. Let me write it off. Let's not worry about it.
Okay.
They kind of like write it off as a bad debt.
Right. So there are doctors who just are okay with some debt and they still see the patient because they get the insurance money.
Exactly.
And then there are other doctors who, I guess, the debt is too high and they don't want to see that patient
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah, they decide on it.
So it's really up to the doctor. But so, what did you call it? A collections agency. So they would have
yeah.
to go get a collections agency themselves,
Exactly.
and then they would send the Excel sheet to them and say, "Can you please try to recoup some of this money for me?" Okay.
So there could be like they go on a deal with a collection agency and say, okay, see, I have like 100 patients. They owe me $100,000.
Yeah.
If you give me $20,000, I'll be happy. It's up to you to collect how much ever you want.
Yeah.
That could be like that, or the doctor will say, you collect as much money as possible. I'll give you a percentage. So
Right.
they go on a contract with the collection agency.
Now, does a patient still get a patient statement if they paid everything?
No.
No patient.
Yeah.
So it's only for people that owe money.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now you can generate a statement from the screen.
Mhm.
So when you generate a statement,
Do we automatically mail these, or do they just print for the doctor?
we have the automatic mailing as well
Okay.
through MDON.
Is that something that's provided on every plan, or only
Yeah, we provide for Apollo plan.
Apollo? Okay.
Yeah, and the Apollo plan, we tell them that mailing statements through MDON is going to cost them 75 cents per
Mm.
statement.
Okay.
So if they're okay with that, then we will enable the MDON patient statements.
Okay.
So they can send statements electronically from our system.
Yep.
MDON will print and mail.
So if they don't want that, they can just print them.
Yeah,
And
they can just print it in
them all
PDF.
Okay.
And
So print a PDF. If you check all of them off, it'll
exactly.
print out every single one for them.
Yeah, and
so then they can put it into their own envelope.
Yeah.
I know that the design team actually made it nice and foldable, so it shows the right.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they can just fold it, and it literally will just show the
Exactly.
address on there.
Yeah. Product procedure. These are all high-level analysis the doctor can do to find out if he's really getting paid for all the services that he's performing. So there are some doctors who perform some service, like say for an acupuncturist, are allowed to do certain type of physical therapy procedures. Now, he may not get paid for it. He will never know because he could be a really busy doctor. Like one fine day, if he wants to see, I wanted to see if I'm getting paid for all the service that I'm doing. Okay, let me see what are the services I've done for this month. I'll choose a date, and it'll show me all the codes that I performed for that particular time period. It'll say the description and say the number of units. Units are the number of times I did this
Right.
for different patients.
So these are all like billing codes here.
Yeah, exactly.
So some of them may not get paid on, some of them they get paid
exactly. So it shows like how much you billed, how much you got paid from the insurance, how much you get paid from the patient, and how much you adjusted.
Right.
If I want more details, I want to see this code. how many times, or this code, how many times I saw. I'll click on the code and it will show the details, like, you know, the list of patients
Right.
that I saw.
Okay. So then basically they could determine what codes are best, what codes are not so good.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not getting paid for a certain service, why should I really, even
Right.
perform?
Should I even bill for that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Or they can upgrade it to a different code so that they can
Right.
get a better payment. So
Right.
it's kind of like doing analysis
Hmm.
with the service that they do. Patient ledger. Patient ledger is like a typical ledger that the doctors can see what are the transactions happened in a particular patient account. So they just choose a patient. It'll show how much. It's kind of like again a summary like by aging date, but specifically for this patient.
For one patient. So it's a patient-focused balance.
Exactly. Now, if I want to see more details, I'll click on the dollar value, and it'll show me all the claims, like how much I got paid, what's the insurance balance, what's the patient balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we saw the same thing in account receivable, but we saw it based on the insurance company.
Right.
Now we are seeing it for a single patient.
Right.
Yeah. Any questions?
Nope.
Great.
Totally self-explanatory.
Okay. Fee schedule. This is one of the screens that the doctor has to do as part of the setup. Like as soon as I upgrade to Apollo plan, this is the first screen that I'll do in terms of billing.
So fee schedule is the amount that they pay for their procedures.
Fee schedule is the amount they bill for each procedures.
Right, the amount that they bill for each procedure.
Exactly.
So generally, a doctor will have a fee schedule.
Yeah.
Or will they not? And we upload one for them? So say that there's a general practitioner, and they have a fee schedule. We'll upload that here for them.
Right.
Right? Or we'll enter it all here for them.
Yeah, we can do it automatically. Now we have an option where the doctor gives an Excel file, like a patient upload. We can automatically upload for them.
Okay.
So if I'm doing it manually, I'll click on Add New.
Mm-hmm.
I'll enter the code. Let's say it's 99213. It's a CPT code. I'll enter, this is my base price. Let's say my base price this is the price that I'm billing the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it as $150. Now, payer ID. Payer ID, the insurance payer ID. So each insurance has a unique payer ID number.
Right.
So let's say, for example, there are certain procedures when the doctor is performing. He bills one insurance in a different value, another insurance in a different value.
Mm-hmm.
For example, an injection code. An injection, I know Medicaid is the last payer, and they pay very, very cheaply.
Right.
So when I bill Medicaid, I wanted to bill only for $20 because they pay only $20.
Right.
But the same injection, when I bill for a commercial insurance, I want to bill for $40.
Right.
Because their reimbursement rate is high.
Mm-hmm.
So I can set it up in the system how much I have to bill based on the insurance company.
Right.
So
it's smart. So
yeah.
It can so you can load it with different prices for different insurance companies.
Exactly. And once the doctors are billing that particular code, our system will see in the back end which insurance the patient has, and then it'll pull up the dollar value.
Okay.
So if you don't want to, keep it as you want to keep it as one pricing for all insurance,
right?
You can just leave it blank,
right?
And this is another new feature that we added, the allowed amount. Let's say, for example, even though I bill $150, the insurance has their own fee schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pay only $100. In my initial contract with the insurance, they said they'll pay only $100. So I'll enter the contract amount here.
Okay.
Always the allowed amount. Always the base price will be higher than the allowed amount. The base price is the price that I bill.
Right. So the allowed amount is the lowest amount? Okay, it's what they pay.
Yeah. The reason why we have it as a little higher is because insurance company keeps doing market research. And based on the market, they might increase the price for a code.
Right.
But not always they communicate. Now, they might pay $992 and $300, but without notice, they will increase it to $110. But when you submit the claim for $100, they'll pay only $100. They will not pay $110 because you billed only $100. Did I confuse you?
So you always mark up your price,
Yeah,
and then the price that they allow is put there.
exactly.
So then it's more likely that you'll get paid the $100
Yeah,
as opposed to $80.
exactly. If they pay $80, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
my contract says I will get paid $100. I'll click on add.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I bill a claim out, they made only $80. They paid $20 lesser than what they're supposed to pay.
Right.
Then we have something called underpaid items.
Okay.
This will track all the claims that got underpaid, so the biller can call those insurance and
And
tell
get the
them,
rest.
yeah, you paid it wrongly, and I want you to make the remaining $20 immediately. They'll reprocess the claims.
Does it generally happen like that they pay the rest?
Yeah.
So it's okay. So it's just a hassle, but they
Yeah,
generally get paid, or no, or is
no,
it?
they get paid.
Okay, so like if they promise $100 for a claim, they generally will pay out if you call them back.
Exactly.
Okay.
The insurance companies, their attitude is they don't want to pay.
Right.
So they wantedly, they'll say, oh, you know what, our system, made a mistake. Okay, we will issue a check now.
Right.
But if you don't call them and tell them,
Right. They're just leave it
that's
as
it.
is. And
Yeah.
They just don't get paid the additional
Exactly.
amount. Okay.
and any questions on this?
Oh, that makes sense so far.
Then sales tax. Sales tax is for the custom procedures, so
Hmm.
it automatically calculates the tax. So that's it with the entire billing.
So sales tax, how do you? It's different state, different tax amounts. So you just set that up.
Yeah, when you had a custom procedure,
Mm-hmm.
there is an
Okay.
you
can
enter the
your
tax.
sales tax here.
Exactly.
So custom procedures like I do Botox in
Yeah, exactly.
Nevada, and the sales tax is this much,
Exactly.
or it's like an item.
Yeah. There are a lot
Like-
of skin doctors. They sell products.
Yeah. Okay, so like the actual item will have a sales tax.
Exactly.
On it. Okay. One last thing about fee schedules.
Mhm.
So fee schedules. Do we have any? Do we have any thoughts on like? Are we gonna like have preload Medicare, Medicaid for every state? Did you ever talk to anybody about that, or
Yeah, we can actually do that.
we can or
it's-
can't?
We can.
Okay.
It's based on the preference. The Medicare and Medicaid fee schedule is available online.
Right.
You go to the CMS website, you can download it. Now, some doctors, they wanted to bill 150% of the Medicare fee
Is
schedule.
that like average? Is that
I have seen 150%.
to 200%? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
it could be the doctor's range.
Okay.
So if the doctor says, okay, bill Medicare fee schedule for my specialty, because we can take the codes by specialty from Medicare. Now, if a doctor signs up and he says, okay, we can load your fee schedule automatically, the procedures that you want.
Right.
We can put that in the billing pick list as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it all automatically. If the doctor upgrades the plan, he says, okay, I'm a chiropractor and I wish to bill 150% of Medicare
Mhm.
fee schedule, then we can automatically upload it.
Okay.
That's something which we need to do it.
So this is a pick list. A fee schedule and a pick list are the same thing.
Exactly.
They're the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, these are the codes that I commonly use.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's the same thing.
Okay. I was just curious. Like I know fee schedule means like these are the procedures and the amounts that I charge for them.
But those are the
Pick list.
procedures is what I'm going to use.
Right.
It's the
that
pick
I'm,
list.
that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a pick list of procedures that you have. So it's your sheet of codes that you
Yeah.
use.
Because if you see, there are 19,000 codes in CPT, but I'm not going to be using all the 19,000.
Right.
So I will use only 10 or 15 codes. Those codes are in my pick list,
Right.
and I have to enter a value for them, and that's where it is.
Are there ever ICD-9 codes in here or no?
Oh yeah,
So
it's
the
both.
fee schedule has ICD-9 codes. Okay, and
Yeah, the reason why we have ICD-9 codes is for the pick list.
okay,
Because ICD-9 code does not have any value. It's just a diagnosis. Only the CPT codes has a value. CPT
so
and
the
APX code.
CPT gets the doctor paid.
Yeah,
The ICD-9
reports the problem
the
the
problem
patient.
and then what you did to the patient is
Exactly.
what gets you paid.
Exactly.
Okay, so but you do have this, so they do enter this in there.
Exactly.
So these are the actual ICD-9s that they can put in.
Yeah, whatever
the-
they put in is in the pick list.
Okay, and then the CPTs are also in the pick list.
Yeah.
So this is like a whole sheet
Exactly.
of every code that they can have.
Yeah.
Okay.